This is the Anna Gale Lines podcast, where we discuss how to live a significant life. And here is your host, author and life coach, Anna Gale Lines.
Hello, amazing viewers. If you've been here before, welcome back. And if this is the first time you are watching one of my podcasts, hello, and thank you for showing up today. Today we're going to be talking about breaking free from self-sabotage. Let's all face it, we've all been there. You set big goals, you have amazing dreams, but then something inside you seems to hold you back, almost as if you're your own worst enemy. You procrastinate, you doubt yourself, you let fear dictate your choices. But here's the thing, you don't have to be a prisoner of your own doubts and fears. You don't have to be a prisoner of your own thoughts. You don't have to sabotage your own success. In fact, you have the power to break free and unleash your full potential. In this video, we are going to define self-sabotage. Most importantly, we are going to equip you with practical strategies to conquer it. It's time to let go of what's been holding you back and step into the life you've always envisioned for yourself. Are you ready? Let's do this. But before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so that you won't miss any of our empowering content. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. Now, let's begin the journey of breaking free from self-sabotage together. What is self-sabotage? Self-sabotage refers to the deliberate or unconscious actions, behaviors, or thought patterns that individuals engage in, often unconsciously, which hinders their own progress, success, or well-being. What are the most common forms of self-sabotage? The first one is procrastination. That's where we put things off to the last moment. And some people are good under pressure, but most likely we are doing this because we don't have enough knowledge or skills, or we fear that we're going to fail at this thing. We are not going to get it perfect enough, so we're going to invoke criticism and judgment from others. And that is why we put it off to the last moment. Then, we've also got negative self-talk. We continually talk negative to ourselves. We tell ourselves how ugly we are. We tell ourselves we shouldn't have said that. We shouldn't have said this. We tell ourselves everything that is wrong with us, and we never tell ourselves what is right with us. Also perfectionism, because it paralyzes us, because we always think that we got to be perfect. We can't make mistakes. We can't look like we're stupid. We can't, invoke the criticism of others. But if you're doing anything in life, you are going to have haters. And that means you're actually venturing out of your comfort zone to do something. But if we stay in perfectionism, we are never going to do anything great in life. And there's also fear of failure, meaning that we're afraid of making mistakes, so we don't do anything. Kind of similar to the perfectionism thing. But we fear that we don't know what we're doing. And then there's the fear of success, which is we feel like we're going to get what we want, and then we're not going to be able to handle it. We're going to bite off more than we can chew. And I've been in a situation like that, and it did happen that way, but I'm telling you, you survive. And also self-isolationism. We stay withdrawn to ourselves instead of going out and talking to others and socializing with others. This has been a big thing since the pandemic. But we also find that people are more social now because of the pandemic. But sometimes when you don't feel that you're accomplishing anything in life, you self-sabotage by withdrawing, by binging Netflix, by, playing on games on your phone. Now, all of these things in moderation are fine, but if that's what you're doing all the time to avoid doing anything good in life, then that's a problem. Substance abuse is another big thing where we self-sabotage ourselves. We turn to alcohol and drugs and harmful substances. this could cause you to not be doing anything in life because you're so focused on getting your next fix or getting your next drink, or you're only focused on that. So we also avoid responsibility when we're self-sabotaging ourselves. It's not about us. We are not the problem. It's everybody else who's the problem. We don't take 100% responsibility for our lives, because when you take 100% responsibility for your life, that is when you're going to be able to change your life. But too many people are focusing on what other people do to them instead of how they're reacting to that situation or what's triggering them in that situation. And then we have self-neglect. We don't sleep enough. We don't eat enough. We don't exercise enough. We're not taking care of ourselves. We're not eating right, and we're not taking care of our mental stability. That's self-sabotaging ourselves. How can we overcome self-sabotaging? Here's some practical tips on how to combat self-sabotage. So we need to identify our self-sabotaging behaviors. So did you recognize yourself in any of those? Are you a procrastinator? Are you a perfectionist? Do you isolate? What are your self-sabotaging behaviors? Is it negative thinking? Because that is a problem for most of us, is how we speak to ourselves and how we think about ourselves. And a lot of times we will think that people are talking about us. People are thinking about themselves. They're not thinking about you. So we need to keep a journal to write down our behaviors and how we are self-sabotaging ourselves. Because if we can see the pattern in our journal, then we're going to be able to overcome that. We're going to be able to identify those behaviors and fix them. And we need to understand what our underlying causes are. Why do we procrastinate? Why do we have self-doubt? Why are we perfectionists? What reason is there? So is it something that's being triggered from your childhood? Is it something that's been triggered from your past relationships? What is triggering those underlying causes? Like procrastination. Is there somebody who told you that a project you did wasn't good enough? And did you continually be told by like a parent that something wasn't good enough? It wasn't up to their expectations? Then that would cause you to procrastinate. That would cause you to want to put it off to the last minute because you don't feel that you could do it to somebody's expectations. But maybe that person who told you that was trying to get you to do better than you could do. Maybe they were trying to challenge you. Or maybe that is a self-sabotaging behavior in their lives, and then you're taking it on. But we need to identify what those underlying causes are so that we can bring them into the light. Because if we don't bring them into the light, we can never deal with them. It's what's in the light that we can deal with. We can't deal with what is in the darkness. It's like when you hear a noise at night, right? And you turn on the light to find out what that noise is. You can't deal with it until you can see it. So we need to also challenge our negative beliefs, because this is a real situation in most people's lives, is that they are talking negative to themselves because they believe negative beliefs. It could be the way that you were raised. It could be what your parents believed. It could be the church you grew up in. It could be the school you grew up in. The area you grew up in are all causing these negative beliefs. But we need to bring it again into the light. We need to write down what those negative beliefs are, and we need to challenge them. So is it that you're really bad at sports, and that you're not coordinated enough, like maybe your mother told you? Or is it that you haven't practiced enough? Is it that you haven't found the right sport? Is it that, she wasn't good at it, so she told you were never going to be good at it? Things like that. We need to challenge what we believe. If you grew up in the church, you need to challenge your beliefs about that. Because I grew up in the church, and there are a lot of things that I was taught that once I studied, I found out were not true. And I had to change my belief, because the beliefs of that particular church were no longer my beliefs. They were their beliefs. So we need to challenge our beliefs. We need to challenge why we think what we think. And we need to start putting in positive beliefs. Positive, that you are capable and you deserve success. That you were put on this earth for a reason. You have talents and gifts and abilities that you were put on this earth to help others with. People can learn from your stories. They can be inspired to do great things through your talents and gifts. But if you never put them out into the world, that because of your negative beliefs, then you are never going to see, the world change, your area change. You're not going to fulfill your destiny. And we need to set realistic goals. We've talked about this before many times, because I'm a very big person about setting goals. We need to set our goals. We need to, have our dreams and break them down into manageable steps, manageable daily steps. But we need to set realistic goals, because when we set unrealistic goals, that's when we fail. That's when we don't gain the momentum in order to do other things. Because if you accomplish one of your goals, you're going to be more likely to accomplish more of your goals. But the problem is that we set these high goals, these lofty goals that we can't get to. But if we would break the lofty goal into manageable steps, then we could get there. But if your goal is to be an NBA player and you're a 50-year-old, has never picked up a basketball in your life, you're going to have to get another goal. If you want to be a ballerina and you're 32 years old and you don't have good ankles, and you might think about a different goal. So we have to be realistic. Not all of us are going to be superstars. Not all of us are going to be singing sensations. Not all of us are going to be best-selling authors. But we can be authors. We could develop our own following. We could be singers, and develop our own following there. I mean, YouTube and TikTok and, all of these social networks are causing us to be able to put our talents into the world and not necessarily become famous, but gain a following. So we also need to practice self-compassion, because, we are going to fail. There are going to be things about us that we're not going to like. There are going to be mistakes we make, things we say that weren't good. We're going to fail. And we're going to, not always be positive in our thinking, but we need to practice self-compassion. We need to be kind to ourselves. We need to have grace. Give ourselves grace, because we are only human beings and we are going to make mistakes. We're going to fail, but we make it worse. We add insult to injury when we speak negatively to ourselves. When we speak negatively to ourselves, we're reinforcing that negative behavior. We need to speak positive to ourselves and have a growth mindset so that we can learn from our mistakes and go forward. So we also need to visualize our success. I find that you can't just set your goals. You have to see yourself in your mind accomplishing those goals. You have to see yourself writing that best-selling novel. You have to see yourself having that following on Facebook or YouTube. You have to see yourself being a success. Because if you don't see yourself being a success, you will never be a success. Because it's that picture within you so if you have a positive picture of yourself, positive things are going to happen in your life. But if you have a negative picture of yourself, negative things are going to happen in your life. So you got to change the vision of yourself. You have to change that picture inside you to be positive, that you're going to get that promotion, that you're going to help those people, that you're going to be a success. But too many times we've got this negative picture and we never change it. So we wonder why negative things are happening to us. It's because we didn't change the picture. It's like a thermostat. You set it to a certain degree and it's going to go to that certain degree and then turn off. But the problem is that we never changed the thermostat. We never changed that picture. So therefore, we're getting negative because we've got a negative picture. We're getting positive if we have a positive picture. So we need to change the picture. We also need to seek support. So if you've got mental health issues, or even if you're working through something, find somebody to talk to. Whether it be your friends, whether it be a pastor, whether it be, a therapist, doesn't matter. As long as you find somebody to talk to and not isolate yourself. Because the worst thing you could do is isolate yourself. Because that's when you get into your negative thinking. That's when you start, going over everything you said that was wrong, everything that you did that was wrong. And it makes it worse. So we need to, find people to talk to. We need to socialize and be among friends. Because in life, most of us have the same experience. Outside of the trauma that a lot of people have, we all have the same experience in that, we're all thinking that we're worse than we are. We're all trying to figure out how to survive and how to get better in life. And we have to develop healthy habits. Incorporate exercise into our routine. Like instead of taking the elevator, take the stairs. If you work in a building, park farther away so that you get more steps in. Exercise at lunch. Small steps will add up to big results. So you need to do continuous small actions on a daily basis, and that will get you to your goals. So we need good sleep. We need to eat better. So eating fruit at lunch at work, or eating fruit for breakfast, adding more fruit into our diets, more vegetables into our diets, sleeping 8 hours a day, practicing self-care, doing things for us, having alone time for our our mental health, reading, listening to music, going for a walk, doing things for us. So we need to set boundaries because we need to say no when it is necessary. A friend wants us to help them move, and we've got things that we need to do. No, say no. They want us to drive them to the airport, and we've got to go to work. No, I am not taking PTO to drive you to the airport. One of your coworkers wants you to do a project for them. No. We've got to say no more. Because no is going to lead us to yes. Because the more we say no to, things that other people want us to do that we don't want to do, then we're going to have time to say yes to things that we do want to do. Yes to our goals and our dreams. Yes to socializing with our family and friends. Yes to opportunities that come our way. But if we don't say no to the things over here that we don't want to do and are not necessary for us to do, we will never have the time to say yes to other things. So we also need to celebrate our achievements. We talked about this before, but we need to celebrate our achievements. Like, have a reward system. Like, whenever you accomplish something, you get, in my case, a mocha frappuccino. I go out to have a mocha frappuccino at Starbucks. That's my treat. You need to have a list of things that are your treats, to celebrate your success. Like, maybe it's going to the zoo, or maybe it's going to the museum, or going to, the art gallery, something like that. Or maybe it's just taking time for yourself, maybe going to get a massage or a pedicure, But when you accomplish things in life, you need to reward yourself with something, some kind of treat, because then that's going to reinforce that positive behavior. And then we need to stay accountable. Because the thing is that we, as people, tend not to take responsibility. And you are 100% the reason why you are in the situation you are today. You are 100% responsible for your own life. People may have done things to you, but the way you react is what's causing the problem. How you react is going to cause you to be negative. It's going to cause you to have negative things happen in your life because you're going to think negatively. You're going to think everybody's out to get you. But the thing is, they're not out to get you. You need to decide how you're going to react to whatever they did to you. Are you going to use it to better your life, or are you going to use it to make people miserable? Because a lot of times what happens is we're abused and then we become abusers because we were abused and we didn't deal with that abuse. So we need to, take 100% responsibility for our lives. And we need to decide how we want our lives to go and how we're going to get there. But too many times, we don't. Too many times, we don't take responsibility, and that's how we get stuck. Remember that overcoming self-sabotage is a process that takes time and effort. Be patient with yourself, and don't be discouraged by occasional setbacks. With constant practice and a commitment to personal growth, you can break free from self-sabotaging behaviors and achieve your goals. Thank you for viewing, thank you for listening, and thank you for being you.
You have been listening to the Anna Gale Lines podcast. If you'd like to learn more about Anna Gale, you can go to AnnaGaleLines.com. It's AnnaGaleLYNES.com. And there you can download 2 free chapters of her book, Unshakable Purpose. And you can also download her latest science fiction mystery novel called The Last Chance Station for free. You can also buy her fiction and nonfiction books on the website, Amazon, BN.com, Lulu, and many other online outlets. Sign up for the newsletter to keep updated as to what's going on in the world of the Anna Gale Lines podcast and Space Static Mysteries podcast, her fiction podcast, where you can hear installments of her novels. Follow her on social media, Lady Anna Gale on TikTok, Anna Gale Lines on Twitter, and Anna Gale Lines Artist on Instagram. Join her Facebook page at facebook.com/author Anna Gale. Thank you for listening, and thank you for being you.